Hello there, Brisky is back, friends. Do you know that the tiger is very special? It is our national animal. But over the years, the tiger population in the country has reduced. We will see why this is happening as we go along. However, there is hope, as this newspaper article indicates. Good news for tiger lovers. New Delhi. Here is good news for wildlife conservationists and tiger lovers. The population of tigers has increased in India from 1,706 in 2011 to 2,226 in 2014. While the tiger population is falling in the world, it is rising in India. It is great news, said Union Environment Minister. Students, what does the word habitat mean? A habitat is the natural home or environment of a plant or an animal. Just like you need your home, animals and plants need their habitats to survive. Students, have you heard of the term extinct? What does it mean? How do animals become extinct? A species of animal or plant that has entirely died out is extinct. One of the reasons animals become extinct is if their habitats are destroyed. Animals that are on the verge of extinction are called endangered. Do you think tigers are an endangered species? The bar graph shows the tiger population in the country over a number of years. Study the graph carefully. Write down 5 questions based on this graph. For instance, between which 2 years was there a maximum fall in the tiger population? Here are some questions I came up with. Analyze these and infer the data from the graph to answer the questions. In which year do you think the Save the Tiger project worked well? Which year showed the maximum fall in tiger population? Which decade saw the maximum tiger population? Between which 2 years was the least increase in the tiger population? How did you do? Here are the answers to the questions. 1989, 2007, 1980s, between 2007 and 2008. That was interesting, wasn't it? By studying the graph and asking key questions, you can tell that the tiger population is decreasing at an alarming rate. After studying this bar diagram, what questions related to the tiger are popping up in your mind? You may be wondering about these questions. Why should we save tigers? What are some threats that face tigers? How do we save tigers? Okay, tell me, why should we save tigers? Our survival is dependent on the natural environment as it provides us with clean air, food and water. Tigers are indicators of a healthy environment. They are therefore called as the keystone species. It is also about the web of life. All things in nature, including humans, are interconnected. Changing any component of this web will impact the others. By saving the tigers, we are protecting the entire ecosystem and all its inhabitants, including humans. Hence, we should save tigers. What are some threats that face tigers? Any guesses? Habitat loss, poaching and hunting are major threats to tigers. These have contributed to the number of tigers reducing from 4,334 in the year 1989 to 1,350 in the year 2007. So then, what can we do to save tigers and increase their numbers? like what happened after the year 2008 in the graph? Create awareness by spreading the word that the tiger and its habitat is under threat. Be a responsible tourist by approaching nature with respect and care while visiting any forest area. The reduce, recycle and reuse strategy can be followed, particularly for products derived from forests, such as timber and paper. Save the tiger. It is our national animal. To recollect what we learnt, we shall read this poem. Saber-toothed cat, my distant relative he was, alas, killed even before I could meet him. Wild beings called men haunted him down, and excess greed prevented the further travel of his paws. The same things man is doing unto me now. Hunted out of my habitat, hopelessly I wander. Eliminated, he has my kin, so in sorrow I growl. Thus will I survive, I now ponder. Insensitive poaching by men gnaws at the very core of my survival. Enemy I'm not, but an ally at every bend. Remain a friend of mine, not a rival. We learned so much about the tiger and its population by analyzing a simple graph. The next time you look at a graph, rather than merely observing it, ask yourself questions and you will be analyzing critically in no time. Hello there, friends! Bouncy is back! Do you like mystery stories? Well, here's one you're going to help solve. This is the pretty little house of Mrs. Blossom. She lives here all by herself usually. It's Sunday, and so her cousin, Mrs. Peach, has come over for a visit. Now, Mrs. Blossom has a beautiful silver lamp that she loves very much. She always displays it on a table near the front door. This morning, Mrs. Blossom decided to pick some flowers for her garden. When she left the house, the lamp was there. Once Mrs. Blossom was done, she went back inside. To her horror, the lamp was missing. How could that happen? She was gone only for 10 minutes. The policeman was called and he questioned everyone.
I only went into the garden. When I got back, the lamp was missing.
That means that someone in your house must have taken it. Call everyone who's in the house.
I was in the upstairs bedroom ironing the clothes.
The policeman checked and there was a big pile of ironed clothes.
I was in the shed in the backyard.
If he had tried to get in, Mrs. Blossom would have seen him from the front garden, thought the policeman.
I was near the gate collecting letters from the mailbox near the gate.
I was preparing breakfast.
Who do you think took the silver lamp? One of the people in the house is lying. Which one is lying? It was Mrs. Peach. She said she went to collect the letters from the mailbox. But do you remember the day was Sunday? Mail is not delivered on Sundays. Mrs. Peach loved the little lamp so much that she quietly slipped it into her bag. But the clever policeman caught her. Did you figure out who the thief was? What technique was used by that policeman to catch the culprit? That policeman identified a difference between the statement and action of Mrs. Peach, whereas There was no difference between statements and actions of others in that house. Hence, the policeman used the technique of distinguishing, which is identifying special feature of objects. Would you like to try your hand at solving a case? Read about it and try and figure out the solution. One morning, young Arun went to the bakery. He saw the baker, Mr. Benny, putting up a sign announcing a price increase. The prices have gone up since this morning, Arun. I have many expenses and now I have to replace my back door lock. Someone broke it and tried to get into my storeroom. But there was nothing there to steal. Only this poster announcing the price rise was on the desk there. Did you call the police? Asked Arun. Nothing is missing, so I didn't call, replied Benny. But I have to buy a new lock. Arun went to visit his friends Tanmay and Ashish at the lakeside. Did you hear someone tried to break into the bakery? Arun asked them. No, said Tanmay. We've been here all morning. Let's go get a chocolate cupcake now, said Ashish. I have 10 rupees left from my allowance. That's not enough anymore. Better borrow another 5 rupees from Arun, said Tanmay. I'm going home now. I know, one of you broke that lock, said Arun, and I know which one. You better figure out a way to pay for it, because I am telling Mr. Benny. Who do you think is the culprit? How did Arun figure that out? Tanmay is the culprit. The sign for the price rise was put up when Arun visited the bakery. But Tanmay already knew about it, even though he was by the lake all morning. That means he saw the poster on the table in the storeroom when he broke in. So the next time you come across what looks like a mystery, remember, there's usually a simple solution. You just need to distinguish. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello there, students. Brisky is back. Do you like to travel to different places? I do. Come on, let us go on a trip and make decisions on the right mode of transport we can take to the place. Summer is here. It is holiday time. These 3 families are going off on a fun vacation together. They love to travel, but they try and avoid trips that are too expensive. Let us see where they are off to this time. They have planned a trip to Nilapur town. It is a beautiful little town by the sea. Now they have 2 ways to get there. They can drive down to the place, which will take 7 hours. The cost of petrol should be about rupees 2000 per car. Or they could take a flight, which will only take an hour. Flight tickets cost rupees 3000 per head. Which mode of transport do you think they are likely to take? Why? They chose to go by road. Although flying would take less time, flight tickets were too expensive for the entire family. They are all packed and ready to depart. There are 3 types of vehicles you can see here. A 4-seater small car, a 5-seater big car, and a 9-seater van. Which vehicle which each of the families take? Why? Each vehicle can hold only a certain number of people. As you can see, each family chooses the vehicle that would accommodate them comfortably. The happy families are off on their fun holiday. They have reached Lake Nilima. How do you think they will cross the lake? They have two options. They could drive all the way around the lake. It will take them 2.5 hours to get to the other side. Another option is to take the ferry. The ferry can transport their vehicles too. There is a ferry starting in half an hour. The ferry takes 45 minutes to cross the lake. Which option should they choose? Why? They choose the ferry. They waited for half an hour for the ferry and crossed over in 45 minutes. So, it took them 1 hour and 15 minutes in all. But if they had driven around the lake, it would have taken them 2.5 hours. The ferry was the more practical and time-saving option. Another family is going to be joining them at Nilapur. They are taking a train from their hometown and would like to reach by afternoon. Take a look at the train schedules and choose the best train for them to take. Remember that they would like their travel time to be as less as possible. There are 4 trains that leave in the morning. Which one should they take? Why? They have 2 choices, Train 1 or Train 4, as both reach the destination by afternoon as they require. Trains 2 and 3 reach only by evening, so they cannot take either. Their second requirement was that the travel time be as short as possible. Train 1 takes 8.5 hours, whereas Train 4 only takes 6.5 hours. That is why they should choose Train 4. All the families have reached Nilapur and are having a wonderful holiday. Thanks for your help. Here are a few situations where you may need to choose the right mode of transport. Which one would you use for each? Satish has to attend an important meeting in Delhi, scheduled on the same day's evening. Which means of transport, train or aeroplane, should he choose to get from Chennai to Delhi on time? Explain your reasons for choosing the same. Satish could choose the aeroplane because he will not be able to travel from Chennai to Delhi by train within a few hours. He will miss his evening meeting. Meghna is planning to visit all the tourist attractions in her city with 6 of her family members. Which means of transport, scooter or car, will she choose and why? Meghna should visit the city by car because 6 family members cannot sit on a bike. Remember, whenever we choose a particular mode of transport, we must take the following factors into account: availability of the mode of transport, comfort and convenience, number of travelers traveling, our ability to pay for its use, the distance to be covered, the time taken to cover it. So, the next time you are going to travel or traveling, remember to check out all your options before making a decision. Good day from your friend Brisky. Let us explore how to make use of problem-solving tool and apply it in the story.
Hello there. My name is Roma. I am in class 4. I love animals. Do you love animals? What is your favorite animal? I am really excited because my birthday is next week. I have decided to ask my parents for a very special gift.
Any guesses on what Roma is going to ask her parents for?
Ma, Pa, guess what is happening next week?
I can't think of anything. Can you, Sumati?
I can't either. What's special about next week, Roma?
You forgot?
We were just teasing you. How can we forget that next
week
week is our dearest daughter's birthday?
Phew. You are real good actors. Okay, so what are you planning to get your dearest daughter for her birthday?
What do you want, Roma?
I want a little puppy. Please, please. I have been really good, haven't I? I really deserve a pet.
Well, this is a big decision we have to make. Are you ready to take care of a pet, Roma?
Yes, I am. I have taken notes from Ritesh, who has had a pet since he was in class first. I have made a list of the positives, minuses, and interesting points on having a pet.
Let's discuss these, shall we, Roma? What are the plus points of having a pet?
Can you help Roma list the plus points of having a pet?
I will always have someone to play with. A dog is known to be very faithful, so I am sure it will protect me too. Oh, and I can also train my dog to do cool tricks. It will be so much fun, Ma.
That does sound like fun. But you should also think about the negative or minus points of getting a pet. For example, when we go for a long vacation, or when you visit grandma's house, who will take care of the dog? Besides, you will have to give the dog a bath every week, take it for a walk every day, and clean up after it too. Are you ready to do all of that, Roma?
Before we hear Roma's answer, I have a question for you. How would you deal with all these situations if you had a pet?
When we go for a vacation, we can ask Ritesh's family to take care of the dog. His family loves animals. I'm sure they will love to take care of our pet too. Well, Ma can help me with giving the dog a bath, and I will take it out for a walk when I go to the park to play.
I think it would be interesting to have a pet. It will be like having a new member in our family.
I can teach the dog some great tricks. It can fetch the newspaper, and I can play with the dog instead of watching TV.
It can come with me on my morning jog. It will be nice to have company.
Do you think Roma's parents should get Roma a pet dog? What were some of the positive, negative, and interesting points that came up in their discussion? List them out. Rama's father adds all the plus points first and then deducts all the minus from that total. They get +4 as a result. Since the plus points are high, they decide to adopt a dog. They now have a cute little puppy called Pudding that they all love very much. Good decision, isn't it? Many times in life, we have to make decisions. These could be simple or tough. There are some tools such as this that will help us do this. Did you notice that Roma's parents asked her the pluses, minuses, and interesting points about having a pet? This is the PMI tool. Plus relates to the positive outcomes of a decision, minus relates to the negative elements, interesting relates to those points that are neither positive or negative but are neutral points of interest. So, the next time you need to take a decision, remember to use the handy PMI tool. Goodbye. Dear friends, your friend Brisky here again. Shall we learn about profit and loss to solve problems of our new friend Siddharth? Meet Siddharth. He owns a little shop around the corner. Let's go and see, shall we? Come along.
I sell antiques at my shop. I buy them at the local village markets and sell them to customers. Let's see if I can buy any interesting artifacts today. How much is this horse? 100 rupees. Please pack 4 of these for me.
Siddharth takes 4 antique horses and pays rupees 400 to the seller. He spends rupees 100 on auto fare. Siddharth cleans and polishes all 4 horses in his shop and makes them sparkling new. He spends rupees 40 for polishing. How much money does Siddharth spend on each horse now? Shall we see the answer now? Cost of 4 horses, rupees 400. Auto fare, rupees 100. Polishing charge, rupees 40. Hence, he spent rupees 540 altogether. Rupees 540 divided by 4 is equal to rupees 135. That means he spent rupees 135 on each horse as cost of purchase. Siddharth wants to make rupees 15 as profit on each horse. At what price should he sell each horse? Exactly! He spent rupees 135 on each horse. Add the profit he wants to earn to it. Rupees 15. That's rupees 150. Hence, he fixed rupees 150 as the selling price of each horse. He displays all the horses in his shop. After a few days, Siddharth's favorite customer walked in.
This horse is beautiful. What is the price? It costs rupees 150, sir. I am your most frequent customer. Give me at 50% discount. I bought it for rupees 100 and spent money on polishing it too. But since you are my most regular customer, I will give it to you for rupees 80. That will work. Thank you.
Do you think Siddharth sold the horse for the correct price? Why? Why not? Siddharth spent rupees 135 on his horse. He sold it for even less, rupees 80. This means he spent more than he earned. He incurred a loss of rupees 55. So he charged too little for the horses. The next day, another customer buys the second horse.
I know I am a new customer, but can you still give me a discount? I promise I will buy many more things from you in future.
I'm sorry, madam. I spent rupees 135 on it. I can't give it to you for less than that.
Great, I will take it.
Siddharth packs one horse and gives it to the customer. He receives rupees 135. Will Siddharth make any money on this sale? Why do you think so? This time Siddharth sold the horse at the purchase cost of rupees 135. This means he did not make any extra money on this sale, but his loss is rupees 55 so far. The next day, another customer visits Siddharth's shop. She buys the horse for rupees 150. Will Siddharth make any money on this sale? What is his profit or loss so far? Siddharth sold the horse for rupees 150. That's rupees 15 more than what he paid for it. This means he made a profit of rupees 15 on this horse. But he has lost rupees 55 in previous deals. Hence, his loss is rupees 40 so far. Only one horse is to be sold. Siddharth wants to revise its price so that he can compensate his previous loss. He sells this horse to another customer. Now he made neither a profit nor loss by selling 4 horses. Can you guess what Siddharth priced the 4th horse at? Siddharth spent rupees 135 on that horse and his loss is rupees 40 so far. If we add these amounts, we get rupees 175. Eureka! That is the answer.
So now I know that when I price an item, I have to take into account how much I spend on it. If I price it higher than what I spend, I earn a profit. If I price it lower than what I spend, I incur a loss. If I price it at the same rate I spend on it, I make no money. Did you understand how profit and loss works?
Here is a little problem for you to solve. Siddharth urgently needs money to help a neighbor in need. What do you think he can do to raise money? Siddharth can organize a one-day sale at his store and offer his antiques at a discount to raise some money. He can also request the other neighbors in the area to contribute money to help out. Any problem can be resolved by giving it careful thought and planning well. Hello, Brisky is back. Welcome to the Happy Acres farm. This is Farmer Mehta. He runs the farm very well. But of late, he has been running into problems. Here is where he needs your help. Before we try and solve the farmer's problems, we need to know the 7 steps of problem solving. Identify the problem. Analyze the problem. Think of possible solutions. Choose the best solution. Make a plan. Carry out the plan. Evaluate if the plan worked. Let us see how we can use these steps to help Farmer Mehta solve his problems. Farmer Mehta rears sheep on his farm. He faces a big problem with the little lambs. They keep wandering off and getting lost. First step, identify the problem. What is Farmer Mehta's problem? His lambs keep wandering off and get lost. Second step, analyze the problem. How can he ensure that they don't wander off, and how can he find them if they get lost? The third step is to think of possible solutions. He can build a fence to ensure the lambs don't get out. He can get a sheepdog which can prevent the lambs from wandering off. He can tie bells around the lambs' necks so that he can always hear them even if they wander away. The fourth step is to choose the best solution. Farmer Mehta realizes that building a fence would cost him a lot of money, so he rejects that option. He thinks the sheepdog is a good idea. It will keep the lambs with the sheep and prevent them from wandering off. If they still wander off, the dog would find them in no time. So, there is no need to tie bells around their necks either. The fifth step is to make a plan. Farmer Mehta needed to get a sheepdog. A trained sheepdog understands and obeys commands. It can be trained to keep the sheep within the herd and prevent them from straying. It can also locate lost sheep and guide them back to the herd. The farmer looks up advertisements in the newspaper and calls up kennels in the area. He found out that a trained sheepdog was available for adoption at a nearby kennel. The next step is to carry out the plan. Farmer Mehta drives to the kennel in his truck so that he can bring the dog back comfortably. The final step is to evaluate if the plan worked. Farmer Mehta trains the sheepdog to watch his sheep. He watches it at work and sees that it is doing a great job of keeping the sheep and lambs together. The dog never let any of the lambs wander off. The solution worked. The problem is solved. Now, let us see you apply the 7 steps of problem solving to a few other issues on the farm. Come along. Mehta has a cornfield. There have been heavy rains and all the topsoil has been washed away. What can he do to prevent this kind of soil erosion the next time? The farmer decides to plant more trees around the cornfield. The roots of the trees hold the soil together more firmly. So, even when there is heavy rainfall, the soil will not wash away easily. This is the field where the horses graze. But look, it is completely waterlogged. Farmer Mehta needs to come up with a way to drain the water from the field, or else his horses won't have a place to graze. What can Farmer Mehta do to drain the field? Farmer Mehta decides to build trenches along the field. The water drains away from the field into the trenches and the field is clear at last. Farmer Mehta's next problem is the cost of fertilizer to ensure his crop is healthy. Prices have gone up and he cannot afford to buy as much as before. What can he do to resolve this problem? The farmer decides to dig a compost pit in his yard. All animal and plant waste, kitchen waste, etc. can be deposited in the pit. In weeks, he has rich fertilizer that he can use for his crops without paying a single rupee. There is a small hill on Happy Acres farm that the farmer wants to use for planting crops. But in the past, the crops have got washed away by rain or are not stable enough to grow at an angle. What can he do to solve this problem? Farmer Mehta decides to build steps on the sides of the hill. This will give his crops level ground to grow on and they will be more stable. Moreover, rainwater cannot wash away the soil or crops easily as it will flow down. Farmer Mehta has solved all his problems. Thanks for all your help. Whenever we are faced with a problem, we need to follow the 7 simple steps of problem solving to find a solution. Hope you had fun solving farm problems. Goodbye for now. Hello friends, Brisky is back. Now we will get to know the difference between good and bad touch. This will enable us to deal with the situation of experiencing bad touch. Let us listen to the song.
touch makes you feel pain, let it not happen ever again. It's not good and it's not right. Talk to someone, don't live in fright. If a touch makes you feel pain, let it not happen ever again. It's not good and it's not right. Talk to someone, don't live in fright. If any touch makes you feel bad, if it makes you scared or sad, talk to someone you do trust. They would help you, yes they must. If any touch makes you feel bad, if it makes you scared or sad, talk to someone you do trust. They would help you, yes they must. A hug from someone you trust, this is the right kind of touch. If it makes you feel so safe, this touch was in the right way. A hug from someone you trust, this is the right kind of touch. If it makes you feel so safe, this touch was in the right way.
Good day, champs. Bouncy here. Now we will discover how to cope with scorn or ridicule. This will help handle our emotions with a positive attitude. Let us listen to the poem.
Know your strength and spread your wings. Don't let people say mean things. We will all go so far, each of us a special star. Know your strength and spread your wings. Don't let people say mean things. We will all go so far, each of us a special star. If somebody teases you, say that is it, I am through. I won't be teased by you, that is it, I am through. If somebody teases you, say that is it, I am through. I won't be teased by you, that is it, I am through. Know your strength and spread your wings. Don't let people say mean things. We will all go so far, each of us a special star. If somebody laughs at you, say don't do that, that is rude. I will not be hurt by you, don't do that, that is rude. If somebody laughs at you, say don't do that, that is rude. I will not be hurt by you, don't do that, that is rude. Know your strength and spread your wings. Don't let people say mean things. We will all go oh so far, each of us a special star. If somebody calls your name, say I won't feel any shame. You should take all of the blame, I will not feel any shame. If somebody calls your name, say I won't feel any shame. You should take all of the blame, I will not feel any shame. Know your strength and spread your wings. Don't let people say mean things. We will all go oh so far, each of us a special star.
Hello there, Brisky here. Do you know that it is necessary that time has to be managed efficiently in order to accomplish our tasks and avoid stress? Lena is a bright, happy girl, but she has one problem. She does everything very slowly because she likes things to be perfect. She takes a long time to get ready for school as she likes to be as neat as possible. Lena chews very slowly on every bite of her food. She likes to take time to enjoy her breakfast. She even takes 10 minutes to make a perfect bow with her shoelaces. She walks to school very slowly as she likes to look around her and see all the interesting sights. At school, she is always the last to finish writing as she wants her handwriting to be perfect. But very soon, everyone got tired of her slowness. "Oh, hurry up, Lena," they would scold her. Do you think Lena is wrong in wanting to do things perfectly? Can you think of ways in which she can complete her work on time? Lena's sister Shobha gave her some suggestions. Lena, any task should be completed perfectly, but within a time frame. Hence, you need to manage your time better. You can still do a great job by doing things a little faster. How about we assign a specific time for each of your tasks every day? So, from the next day, Lena began to time all her activities with a clock. She made sure she spent only the time given to her on getting ready, eating breakfast, going to school, writing. So in a few days, she got used to doing things faster, and the best part was her work was still neat and tidy. That made her really happy. Have you ever found that 24 hours are not enough for you to do everything you love in a day? Which activities are you unable to fit into your day? Can you think of a way to include these by managing your time better? Make a timetable for your daily routine and allot specific times to complete each activity. Would you like to help Lena plan an important day in her life? She has been selected to represent her school at a science exhibition. She has prepared a list of things she needs to do. Some of these things are important for the project, but some of them can be done at another time. Take a look at the tasks she has to do and arrange them in order of importance. The most important event is the exhibition, so Lena needs to complete all the tasks needed for that first, the model and the speech. Before leaving for the event, she needs her uniform, her lunch, and to remind her father to drop her. The other tasks are not of immediate importance and can be shifted to a later time. Sometimes there might be too many things to do and not enough time to do them. Instead of getting stressed about it, you could organize your tasks in order of importance, like you helped Lena to do. Her presentation was a great hit. Why don't you try the same exercise for any upcoming event and see how it works for you? Hello from your friend Brisky here. Do you get stressed out occasionally, especially during exams? Here is a story of a boy who gets very stressed about his upcoming exams. Meet Mohit. He is in class 4. Mohit is studying really hard for his exam tomorrow. Mohit has been studying very hard for his exam. He is studying even on his way to school.
Hey Mohit, you seem to be studying really hard. You look quite stressed as well. Yes, Rohit Anna, I'm a bit nervous about the exam. I feel worried and sick. Why, Mohit? Don't be nervous. I'm sure you will do just fine in the exam. I hope so, Rohit.
Have you ever felt the way Mohit feels? Have you had days when you were loaded with homework that you had trouble sleeping? Have you ever been so worried about something that you ended up falling sick or having a headache? Exams and homework can sometimes stress us out. Let us find some ways to get over this, shall we?
You know, Mohit, one of the ways I relax is by playing fun outdoor games, such as cricket and football in the evenings. I take a break for 1 hour, play my favorite games, and then get back to studying. I feel fresh and motivated to learn. I also make sure I never skip breakfast. Eating breakfast gives me the energy I need to get throughout the day. Sometimes I miss breakfast if I'm in a hurry. That is not good. Eat regular meals and take time to enjoy them. And before you go out to play, just eat a banana or a cheese cube for some power-packed energy. You still look like a little worried. I think I need to lighten your mood. Shall I ask you a riddle? Okay, now tell me, why was the math book sad? I don't know. Why? Because it had too many problems. See, Mohit, didn't that joke make you feel better? Laughter is the best medicine. It makes you feel good and the feeling stays with you even after the laughing stops.
Can you think of a few ways to lighten your friend's mood and make him or her relax and smile?
If something is really bothering me, I always talk to my mother about it. If I keep my feelings bottled up inside, it makes me feel worse. What are you so worried about? You can tell me. I am really scared. I won't do well in my exams, Anna. Then you should talk to someone about it. Either with your parents, your friends, or a teacher. Someone you trust and who will listen to you. They will help you and make you feel better. Did you sleep well, Mohit? No, Anna. I'm so tired. I slept very late last night. Oh, Mohit. That is another reason why you may be feeling so stressed. You need enough sleep every night so you wake up fresh and early. Do you have a little time to spare? Let us go for a short walk in the playground, shall we? This feels nice. I feel better already. Walking around helps you feel fresh and free from stress before an exam.
Think of a time when you were really stressed and worried. Did you do anything to reduce the stress and relax? Did it work? Share your thoughts in class. If you wanted to try and reduce your stress and relax next time, which of the above ideas would you choose and why? Share these thoughts in class too.
So, how did the exam go? It was great. I did pretty well. Thanks for helping me relax, Anna. It really helped me. My pleasure. Just remember the things I said about dealing with stress. Eat well, play well, sleep well, and talk to someone about your worries. Thank you.